There are exactly 4 levels between where you are right now and actually getting rich as a developer. And the reason that you feel stuck is that nobody has ever shown you the whole staircase all at once. Everybody online is pretty much selling you only one step of it. The job market people are selling you level 1, the freelance people are selling you level 2, the SaaS people are trying to skip you straight all the way to level 4, and every single one of them talks like their step is the entire game. So today we're gonna do something different. We're gonna run the actual math on all 4 levels, the real margins behind them, the real timelines, and the real numbers at every single step. And I can do that because I have myself climbed through every single one of those levels, going all the way from a $250,000 salary as a software engineering manager where my time was being billed out at over $18.50 an hour to now a business doing over $450,000 a month in revenue. By the end of this video, you will see exactly where the actual wealth is hiding on this exact staircase, because it is not going to be where you think it is. And you'll find out exactly which level you are standing on right now. Now, level 1, the salary. And first and foremost, we have to do the math that your employer really hopes you never do, because most software engineers have never actually calculated their own unit economics, which to me is wild, because for a profession that calculates everything else, the one important thing we didn't really do. So here were my numbers as an employee back when I calculated them. My company was billing out my time at $18.50 an hour, and here's the part that actually made it worse. This was the rate per client, and they had me staffed on 3 clients at the same exact time. So my rate effectively was close to $6,000 an hour. If you add it all up across the year, my work is generating over $10 million for the company. So essentially a little over $3 million per client. My salary was of course at $250,000, which sounds great until you put it next to the 10 million, because now you can see the actual structure of that deal. I was seeing less than 5 cents of every dollar that my work was actually producing. The other 95 cents, well, that's called a margin, and my employer pretty much kept all of it. And look, before you do the mental gymnastics that I did and say, Bugo, but you're wrong, yes, they did provide the clients, the infrastructure, the benefits, blah, 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 blah. But even if you account and price for all of that as generously as you wanted, the split is still going to be lopsided, because the entire business model of employment is literally buying your hours at a fixed wholesale price and selling the output at retail. And in my specific case, they were running that exact trade on 3 clients at the same exact time. And at level 1, there's actually a second number that also matters, which is the growth rate. Your raise, let's assume, is gonna be what? 3%, maybe 5% in a good year. You're gonna ship a feature that makes the company millions of dollars, and your reward is pretty much gonna be, let's say, a $2,000 to $5,000 salary bump. And I've heard this exact story from hundreds of software engineers that I've talked to. They hit every goal, promotion gets denied anyways. Even if they do get promoted, their salary goes up by maybe $2,000 or $3,000, which is minuscule. So level 1 is a position where your revenue is capped, your growth rate is capped, and your margin is basically 0. Now, level 2 is consulting. And watch what happens to the same exact numbers that we were just talking about. Keep in mind, we are the same exact software engineer, technically speaking. The only variable that changed is who now owns the client relationship. And that one variable flips the entire equation on its head, because that $18.50 an hour, or whatever your own market rate is, now will land in your account instead of your employer's. So now you went from potentially, let's say, 5 cents on the dollar to keeping the entire margin. And at a solo consulting level, these margins are gonna run 50% and up, which, by the way, is going to be better than most of the SaaS companies that people worship nowadays. And to add on top of everything, since we are on level 2 of the staircase, the market math right now is stupid in your favor. There are over 30 million businesses in the United States alone that need to figure out all this new software stuff, especially AI. And over 99% of people that have no idea what to do with it. Meanwhile, you have every single developer fighting over every other developer for the same exact remote jobs, for the same exact internet strangers, for the same exact opportunities, while the businesses located 10 minutes from your house have 0 technical people that they trust to do the work that they need to do. Online, you're pretty much one of millions of developers, and locally, you might genuinely be the only one, so all you really need to do is just show up to it. And here's what the numbers actually look like when engineers actually go ahead and do this. Across every single founder that I have worked with inside my startup accelerator Code to CEO, the average time to a first client has been about 47 days. And the average first deal has been over 15,000 US dollars for those that were located in North America or Europe. If you compare that to level 1 math, well, keep in mind, $15,000 a month is literally most engineers' pretty much dream for the next 5 to 10 years. But these individuals were landing it in under 2 months. Paul, a perfect example, was a senior engineer and he made more money in January and February of this year than his entire previous year of salary. Right now, he's doing over $50,000 a month. Sandra, an MIT-trained software engineer who was overemployed working 2 jobs, inside 12 months, her business out-earned both of those salaries combined and she ended up quitting both. Both of these software engineers had the same exact technical skills the entire time. The only thing that changed was where they were actually standing in that equation that we just discussed. But because level 2 has a ceiling too, it would only be fair for me to show you exactly where that ceiling is, since this is the level where a lot of freelancers and a lot of software engineers in general get stuck at for decades. The constraint is right there in your formula if you look closer. Your revenue is your rate times your hours. And one of those 2 variables is hard capped at 24 minus your sleep minus your life. So past a certain point, more money means more clients means more hours, and obviously you already spent all of those, your hours are capped, 24 hours in a day. So level 2 breaks the income cap to a certain degree, but the math is still renting out your time just at a better price. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a great trade compared to level 1, and I mean that genuinely, but you didn't do all of this just to build yourself a more comfortable prison. And the fix to all of this is actually where level 3 comes into play, and level 3 is where the revenue formula itself experiences a drastic change. This is referred to as productizing, and in plain terms, it basically means you stop selling your hours and you start selling defined outcomes on recurring retainers, delivered by systems instead of by your personal time. Now, keep in mind, I am not just yet talking about a SaaS. This could be a SaaS, but it could also mean a service-based business. And this is where being a developer becomes a mathematically unfair advantage, because the delivery systems are made of the exact thing you already know how to build. So in my specific case, the AI agents set up inside our business replace entire junior roles. So work that used to require headcount maybe 3 or 4 years ago now runs on something that I can build just once, and it's gonna keep on running. And look at what that does to the actual numbers at hand. So let's take a look at another example. Masa, software engineer from Japan, who is currently doing over 18,000 US dollars a month on a recurring basis. Balaj from Eastern Europe doing $20,000 a month on a recurring basis. The key word here is recurring, because at level 2, January's work pays you in January and then it's gone. But at level 3, January's work is still paying you all the way in June. So revenue stacks instead of resetting. And for the first time on this staircase thing that you built, now you're actually seeing an asset play out in real time. And positioning at this level buys you pricing power that sounds pretty made up until you check the numbers yourself. And of course, last but not least, we have level 4, which is ownership. And this is the level where the actual wealth math lives, which is exactly why almost nobody in the developer space talks about it, because most people selling advice have never really seen these numbers from the inside. At level 4, the money takes 2 forms. So let's actually price both so you can see them. Form 1 is your business becoming a sellable asset. A lot of you will know this as an exit. So once you've got recurring revenue, systems handling delivery, and then a lean team, the business runs whether you are in the room or not. So it is independent of you. And businesses like that trade at a multiple of their profits. And my climb ended up here, over $450,000 a month, at margins close to 50%. If we do the evaluation math on a business like that, even at a conservative multiple, and I put it next to the total lifetime earnings of, let's say, a level 1 engineer, or back when I was working at a 9 to 5, well, you're gonna see that they're not even playing the same game anymore. It is night and day difference. And an asset like that gives you 3 exits. So number 1, I can hold on to it as a machine, I can scale it, or I can sell it. Every single one of those outcomes is going to create wealth for me. Now, the second form is equity in other people's businesses. And for developers, this one is criminally underpriced and also underrepresented. When your systems transform a company's economics, you stop being a vendor in their books and you can start being a partner. And partners usually get a percentage of said company. Marco is a prime example of this. So he was a software engineer at Microsoft. He quit, doubled his salary in the first 20 days of actually consulting, and on top of the cash, he took equity in the business that he now works with. So if we put the whole board on the table, we have as follows. Level 1, remember, the 5 cents on the dollar, you have the capped growth, there's no real asset value just yet, it's a big fat zero. Level 2, you get to keep the margin. It's going to take you a little bit of time to get to your first revenue, right? But income is still going to reset every single month you stop. At level 3, you're going to have recurring revenue. Systems are going to do the delivery for you, and the numbers are finally going to stack towards an asset that you can exit at level 4. And at level 4, you own the machine and pieces of other machines, and the money arrives whether you show up or not. So throughout this entire staircase, you are still the same engineer with the same exact technical skills at every single level. The only thing that moved is the position. Yet, the math, as you shifted from position to position, moved at a couple orders of magnitude. So now the question answers itself, right? Why do most developers never actually get rich then? Well, it's never really about talent, and the numbers proved it to you. It's that most software engineers will spend 10, 20 years optimizing the wrong level. So let's say level 1, grinding lead code to improve a position whose margin is structurally capped at say 5 cents on the dollar, because nobody ever put the full equation in front of them. Now that you've seen all 4 levels priced out, the only real variable left is to understand, okay, which one am I on right now, and what do I need to do to move on to the next level? Because that is the only thing that is going to keep you from achieving your financial goals. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.